Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day to each and every one of you. We want to welcome you this afternoon, this morning, this evening to SKTV. Welcome to the show. We want to welcome you to this edition. Today is October the 16th, 2022. Welcome and welcome. Welcome to this edition. Those of you listening to us via the radio in Liberia, Truth FM 96.1. We want to say welcome. We want to thank the leadership, the management, and every member of the team uh, at True FM to help us with this relay of the program today in Liberia and across Liberia, especially where they are situated, some part of Monrovia. I want to greet our Oma or Papine all around the place in Liberia. As always, the Liberian people are the most important people on earth. That's something that Melbourne Kula Johnson cannot dispute. But most importantly, the Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth. I challenge any man born of a Liberian woman to dispute this fact. It is
Thank
a
you.
fact that cannot be disputed. And as evidenced by that, you probably look like your mother. But let's get to Melbourne here. Melbourne, my man, what's going on? I greet our people here in the diaspora and back home. What's going on today?
Yes, and when you say what are you going on here today? Yeah, man. Everything well, I can finish. Anyway, that's great. But anyway, first, we want to say good evening to you, to all of you there. The time check here is 8 minutes past 6 o'clock here in Liberia. So it's in the evening time. So we want to say good evening. And yes, it's our pleasure, always of following all of you there from the diaspora. Thank you so much for your support and so on towards Mama Liberia. Yeah, so Mama Liberia is gradually turning to Miami. Thank you so much. And the fact is, in fact, Steve can bear me listening to that. So thank you so much for your support. Yeah. So Steve, we want to say thanks to all of you. Thanks to our people there.
My man, but you just greeting our people then that they thought that we gave that the Liberian women are the most beautiful. You avoid that all. Why your situation in the morning? Yeah.
No, yeah, no, you are
Why your
right.
situation?
Let me be frank. You are right. To that, there are no even it about that because why our women they are the most beautiful people on the earth. They are the most beautiful women, and it's just that they got to work hard for with the men like because we want to be in a photo for you say, so because of
Oh,
the beauty, so they tell me our boy here and there.
my man, that breaking news there
Yeah,
also. That breaking news there. So
yeah, yeah.
we
So
want to hear the one in the time. That breaking
yeah,
news
so
there.
yeah. So they gotta give us more, but that's just the fact because why with still when you not get money, what happened to the beach shot? The beach shot that will come down to to a junior and to a junior because they want to use the little money they have, so it's not easy.
My
Yeah,
man,
so
I don't know about social talk, my mother in that room.
yeah, that's the kind of feeling.
But you are breaking news there. Oh. Wow.
Seriously though, my man, that easy, yeah,
So
yeah.
so so the hustle that is you're battling the minute who get smoke yeah.
My man, I say, don't make any mistake and get fun, get a fun over plus. Or else, not for you. The minute, it's not gonna be shy with your come for her and your take off. I look. Yeah, so you don't get money for that boy. Yeah, just go for maybe they can, I don't know, fairly fine because I don't want to. Yeah, she might be over plus fine. They get fine, they get fine, get over plus fine. So there are some people that want to follow me, fearfully me, and I don't know whether I want to follow me when you want or you want to fearfully me.
My man, that other information you giving here, that social information, so I'm not putting my money inside.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
great.
when we get to other news, you can bring out other conversation. But I only know that brand women are the most beautiful. All the other one you talking, and I decide.
Ah,
But my man, on another note,
mm,
today, me and Sekou spoke earlier,
mhm.
and Sekou was laughing at me. My man, some of us when we support with everything. We don't just give.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
understand? My
Mhm.
man, they flog us this morning. They flog us.
Yes,
They are still
and
making a Barcelona share.
yeah. So I almost even ask you as to what are you doing with the with
No, no,
the
no,
with
no, no,
the
no, 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 no,
with the
no.
jersey on you.
I thought you said you
Uh,
were not going to John Sekou again. We discussed that thing behind closed to the window.
no, I'm a Chelsea fan. Someone, in fact, someone I see Barcelona. Every time I see them, that my skin can creep. I just want to play anytime I see her. So when I see the I got the emblem, on you, I said no, but there's something is wrong somewhere. But anyway, then my brother finish greeting all for them. I will get back to you. So how the game ended and so forth.
Yeah, my man, Jeff forgave us. You know,
Oh,
the thing we did to your back at
mm,
Stanford Bridge, I think somewhere
yes.
2000, 2000, I know that 2000.
That 2010 or 2011.
Yeah, somewhere
Or,
around there, the thing we did to you, put you in situation you
mm,
couldn't handle.
mm-hmm.
Sorry, Papa. Sorry. But let me say this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me say this. The thing we did to you forgive us.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah, no, we feel
Forgive
forgiving you because the kind of situation that you're in, we don't want to add, I don't know, say injury to one and one, so we don't want to add insult to injury.
No,
So,
my man.
so,
That's why you
so
need
we don't
to.
want to make your whole while, to
That's
go.
why we need to gang
Um,
against the single man. Listen, the single man, we need to go against the single man. Listen, and
okay.
he thank God you're not logging and as I speak to you, you're not watching the show because we spoke before you finish getting ready to count the show. You know, we finish having it. But let's have the discussion before we go to other news really quick and get to the whole
Mm-hmm.
matter.
Yeah.
You know, my man, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you will not tolerate him behind closed door.
Yeah.
Just, forgive us. We made mistake that time to misbehave.
Oh,
I
I
stand for
can.
you.
I
To
hope don't be the people
misbehave.
never could be asking for forgiveness. Oh.
My man, we are Liberian. We
What
are
kind of
for
thing also?
forgiveness.
Look, I gave you to do.
My
Oh,
man, we are for
no, I say,
forgiveness.
you know, people.
My man, we not let people just who can make help more. We
I
part of
say.
that part of forgiveness.
No man, I give no man. I clap for you, man. Actually, I give you NASA.
So that mean you will support going forward. You will say who can we not we tell you what to go.
No, I will be in between.
No, then
Yeah,
you're
I
not
will
clear.
be in
You're not
between.
clear. You're not clear. You're not clear.
I
Don't
will
have to
be
get
right
you're not
in
clear.
between.
But you know what's interesting today? You know what's
Mm.
interesting today?
No.
Um, I'm not posting. Abdullah
Mm-hmm.
Kiatama is a strong Liverpool fan.
Okay.
And they want to see any post from him yet. So
Yeah,
I kind
I
of
don't
think
know.
if he switched to Barcelona last week or he stayed with, I will try to see
Mm-hmm.
if I can inbox him. Maybe he will answer me because sometimes the BB men when you say hello to them,
Are
sometimes
they
they can
not
say,
trying to work alone? Because every time they say they can't work alone, but I hope
no, they
that they'll
put
not
one
work
again their
alone.
money, oh. They put one again
Yeah,
their money.
yeah, I know.
When you and I were texting
Mm.
to
Yeah,
convince you so that you
yeah.
can turn over to Barcelona not to win the
Liverpool
whole
beat 1-0, and they
that
could be
Liverpool
messing
game I
it
was
too.
watching. I
Huh?
was watching Liverpool game.
Yeah, they put out their 3 points where they won't go.
Yeah, my boy John Lowo, he support Liverpool as well. I know a
Hmm.
couple of people that support Liverpool. But
Okay.
anyways, Arsenal won this morning too, so I know Senator Dallas will
Arsenal
be
stay
playing.
top here. Arsenal stay on the Premier League table.
And they're four
Hmm.
points clear now. They're 4 points
Okay.
clear. But you
Wow.
know
Big
what?
ball. Oh.
Enough of the game.
Hmm.
Let's get into business. While we are here for the Liberian people business, I know many of the football fanatics and so forth, they're listening. President George, we are probably following either on a fake page or he's watching it from distance. Either way, he's watching the show. That is a fact. He always watches the show. President George, we are our man, our president, you know. But we are our president. The only thing we know
I
is
just, I
he's
just
not
let
doing
it
it
wait.
well.
Just the men are all men. I just
No, that's
let
our
that
man. That's
come.
our man. We not get anything
Yes.
against the president. But the only thing when the
Mm-hmm.
president not do a job with things, he not do a job. That president, look, we can't tell the president anywhere. The president are one man. That only two things
Mm-hmm.
I show up. The president doing a job and he will not be re-elected. That one part I know it. That one man. In articles, when French men tell you where c'est clair, it means you can tell your man the truth. So that the truth I tell him about President John, we are honest to what I say in French. Where c'est clair, we gotta say the clear fact to the president. Even though our boy need to go sit down, he wants to the job. Let him join the entertainment committee and we'll be good. And you understand? He come to the
Mm-hmm.
entertainment committee, we will hold him on it. He can come and be part of the entertainment committee. He even will be chairman, sit on the entertainment committee, we can make space for him. But the
Mm.
president said no. No, you're not going that one. But anyways, let's get to other news here today. We'll talk a little bit about Legends. We'll talk about the interview of former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai. We'll talk about the interview of that he held most recently, and we get into it as to provide some of the facts and the context, and also I've been doing some late night show. I've been invited with Yasendi, and we have two more, I think 2 or 3 more segments left. We profiled Alexander Cummings or Tuesday ago, this coming Tuesday, we'll be profiling Jose Yuma Boakai. We'll talk about his records and so forth. And we'll profile who Jose Yuma Boakai is as we did to Alexander Cummings. So, but that will be on our page. But let's discuss what we're here for today. But let's get to other news really quick. My man, in other news, we saw roadblocks. But let's start from the diaspora first. We did see from the diaspora the ANC convention. We saw Mr. Alexander Cummings, his wife dancing buka dance. Sometimes last night I was to an event. A couple of people sent me the video. Oh, you call Alexander Cummings come on buka dancer. Alexander Cummings come on buka dancer. I said, well, if Alexander Cummings dance buka, you won't call him come on buka dancer. That's fine. That's okay. I don't think the ANC people should get there. Anyone dancing buka? Hey, if you call him come on buka dancer, what thing in that one? Another thing also about the convention yesterday that we are hearing, even though we don't have the figures yet as to how much they collected. Sometimes today we might have it and we'll report it to you, or they will report it on the page. Either way, we'll lay emphasis on it. The convention was solely focused on, raising money for the elections come 2023. And so there were a couple of things that were done there in Maryland. We did follow it, some of them. In the issue of common buka dancer, it's your right to call Alexander Cummings common buka dancer if you choose to. It's your right. And I don't think anybody should be mad at that. But what I still don't understand is the context in which most Liberian people spoke when they got mad at President George Weah for continuously dancing buka dance and other things. First of all, you got to keep in mind that President George Weah is the president. He's not just anybody. And when the country is going through crisis or things are hard or whatever it is, you don't want to be seen as celebrating. These things are common sense things. You don't need to justify it with somebody who's not a president or other people who are private citizens trying to make it to compare or to do a comparative analysis. When we say this thing, then you'll say we Cummings man or with the other person who's not man. But Joseph Boakai was dancing the other time at his 50th anniversary. Yes, these people are not in power. If they were in power, then we can hold them accountable and say the country is not doing well and you celebrate it or whatever it is. It would make more sense. There are some things that you don't do comparative analysis on. You don't compare and contrast. But again, this is politics and sometimes the optics. I also side with people who would say he shouldn't be dancing the same music. If I were in his camp and advising him, maybe I would have played his music. Alexander Cummings, that bomb or whatever it is. I would have suggested that music for them to play. But again, it's up to them. They can do whatever they want to do. And we will say what the facts is or what the facts are. And we will continue to move on as much as we can when it comes to the issue of Liberia. Because we owe no alliance or no allegiance to anyone. The facts will be the facts. Because long after we leave these podcasts or whatever not, history will judge us. The fact will be here. As evidenced by that, this is why we are going to talk about the interview of Jose Yuma Boakai. But I want to move fast forward also to Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, who held a rally in Minnesota. It was carried by one of our sister network, focus on Liberia, and my boy Ansoni C carried yesterday. There were Q&A time wherein the senator had to answer some questions and so forth. I think it was very interesting. But one of my concerns is I know Chairman Musa Bility, and the rest of the leadership has written that Senator Yombi Kanga Lawrence and other people who were suspended or removed from their position refrain from doing business in the name of the party. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. Considering Senator Yombi Kanga Lawrence went to Minnesota not as senator, but rather as the party leader, which is, I'm not sure what that's going to lead to, but it's another noise. It's another quagmire. It's something that could lead to problems, potential noise in the Liberty Party, because I'm not sure how they're going to handle this. I'm not sure what they're going to say about this, but we'll watch and see what the reaction would be from Monrovia, especially from the party. we'll see. But I think it was very, very, very interesting to see that Senator Lawrence, Senator John B. Kanga Lawrence was doing business in the name of Liberty Party and as the chair, as the political leader of the party, which I found a little interesting. Some people say, "Oh, why are you talking about Liberty Party?" But listen, we can talk about anything here. Yep, and that's what we are. But I want to turn to you to just to give us a little overview about what happened these few days, because we saw people on the street for Lidges, some of them from Grand Bassa, I stand to be corrected, blocking the road and so forth. What's going on? Give us an insight before we go to the musical break and share the show really quick.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve. Even though I'm hearing unconfirmed reports or news that our former president is not too well, but I'm still trying to really verify that. Yes. So, and we pray for, yeah, praying for her that at least she get well. But according to the information I'm getting, she flew out of Liberia. According to the information, though, but we stay funny hard to verify that information that the former president of Liberia is not too well and she been flown out of Liberia. So back to the latest issue, yes. Steve, you're correct. Latest, I don't know, but there are a lot of serious discrepancy, a lot of thing happening within that latest. I don't know how they started with the entire thing, but the procedures, there are a lot of procedures errors, there are a lot of things, the applicants are calling us back to back. And, as to they took the test, some of them they took the test and some of them they passed, but they are not seeing their names are being replaced by some family members or maybe from legis. So I'm just going to go to their own website and just bring you few of the comments coming from those citizens that took the test and have been complaining since day up to now. And this one coming from Nelson P. Mentor, he said, just see what lectures are doing to we that wrote the attitude test and we passed. They are now taking our names, putting their own people that didn't write the attitude test. Mr. Smith is a director, so he said, Mr. Smith, Director General of Legit, please be fair when you are giving public test. We continue to go down, and this one said, Legit, stop playing with my job for so clinic community to cover where they're not small distance. And there are a lot of things. So we go to the one from, I think from Bon County, changes A or Kiyata from Bon County. Say, my name is Abu M. Kuyata, participated in the latest application process in Bon County. But time for us to go through the training process, we have been met. In fact, we met with lots of challenges like two listening, one from the official website and another from the county transportation, etc. But my major concern here is about the listening, because we know that the website list is the official one, but members of legis in Bon County are demanding that their fake listening should be honored by all costs. So we need your intervention, please. And this person is from Bon County, Abu M. Kuyata from Bon County. And this one, about 3 hours ago, is the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geo Information Service or Services. So all these people don't have contact number, and they place a group of people here on the sheet that don't have no contacts. They say, or they call them the enumerator, so no contacts. So, Steve, quickly before we go for the break, there are so many things on this, so many information here on the latest website. They want to say we will deny all the strangers latest we sent to Grand Bassa County or community entrance. Okay, you are talking about Grand Bassa County, and they want coming from Sarah B. Joe said we will deny all the strangers latest we sent to Grand Bassa community entrance. Nobody's, you use something word, so I can't use that word yet. Yeah, so that's the work, or that's a message coming from Sarah B. Joe, he from Grand Bassa County, and about 3 hours ago on the web or the page, I don't know what is the official page of Legis, but it's Liberia Institute of Geo and Services here in Liberia. So and then one quickly from Honorable Achi Ayuna Boan said, I am a signal of a protest against lectures within days to come in Ganta Nimba County. So this one is coming from Achi Ayora Bouan, in fact, from Nima County, he said a singular or protest against leeches within days to come in Ganta, Nima County, angry applicants. So it's not easy for leeches. I think leeches board have to come to the press, but they are not coming out at all to the press. So we don't really know what's happening, and that they're not talking to the press, but there are a lot of complaints, people calling back and back to media horses, complaining about leeches behavior, about what's happening with the entire sense of thing. People are not really getting the proper system that they need to get. That means they should have to put all the system in place so that at least our people will be able to be counted during a sense of 2022. So far, Steve, there are a lot of comments here, but I can't read all because we've got to go for the break. I think we'll come back later on, then we're still going to talk more about that.
Yes, we'll talk about leeches a little more, considering we'll also talk about the aptitude test, because that's one of the tests that we conduct, especially from a psychological standpoint, as to, and we'll tell you as to what it's really done for. So I was trying to find out what is the connection, what is the correlation, what is the benefit of having leeches conducting that test. I try to process this with few, whether it's psychologists or other professionals that normally use the aptitude test, because we got to let librarian people know what the aptitude test is used for and so forth, as to understand why they chose to do this as opposed to training, legious workers, in what to do, using those resources to invest in recruiting people and training them. So I really want to, and I still couldn't get an answer as to the correlation here to even determine in using an aptitude test. Is this something that they've done before? It's just a little confusing.
Yeah, and myself, I'm getting a little bit surprised because I think during the 2008 census, I think we really experienced all of these things that we really experiencing now. And for me, on a very serious note, I think the latest boss really, really blown, or in fact, the entire or side, they don't really do well because since 2008, can you imagine up to now, like since 2008, you did census. So you have all the free, you have all the time. No, the only thing that legislation were waiting for was money. So by right, you want to put all the system in place. But let's just sit there. People are crying. People are complaining. The simple as well go work. You are not choosing according to the information. They are choosing family member, choosing this, choosing the other person, bringing in their own group of people.
Let's go to our break. Let's go to our break before we come to our
No. You're not going to no break. You're not going to no break.
You won't spoil the show. You won't spoil the show.
No. You're not going to no break. First of all, Melbourne, how are you?
I'm doing great, Chief. I'm very, very 100% okay. Thank God. At least
if anybody that got shamed, anybody that got shamed, small shame chat, not be one. You get small shame. You're not supposed to wear Barcelona t-shirt today.
No, the viewers
after being disgraced. After being disgraced, you still have the audacity to wear the Barcelona shirt to come on the show. If this was before the game, I can understand.
Yeah.
But how can you take a massive defeat, disgraceful defeat, and then they move on there again? They say they're jumping behind Manchester City. So that won't take from that. So you how can you wear that kind of shirt, Barcelona t-shirt to come after your massive defeat? It's shameful.
That's strong. You're very strong.
We hold Mr. Sekou Kane in contempt, for reactionary moves. What's going on?
Don't be like Serena Shifo.
We had it last night. The Patrick Honda Punch FM show, they got a group in the United States, fan club or whatever. So they posted, I wrote that I wanted to join. I wanted to join a group. So I saw the guy who wrote the information. I said, "But my man, my application to join the fan club, I didn't go on the message. My man, the man said, you too I got that word from yesterday. You too reactionary." So your application is pending. I said, "But what did I do?" But Mr. Kane, congratulations to Real Madrid. You guys won. we are not, we are not shy to identify with who, we support, regardless of, whether we don't win or we win. So we are here to show solidarity to our team, and we take the defeat. We'll work on ourselves, and we'll become better people. But congratulations to you, Mr. Kane, and all the fans from Real Madrid. You'll enjoy this time, and that's how it's supposed to be, right? That's how it's supposed to be.
How it's supposed to be.
Good. Can we get to the musical break, please, so we can talk about this thing?
That's fine. That's fine. I just want to make sure that. But I just wanted to say congratulations to all Real Madrid fans, and to say shame on El Barcelona fans. You should be over there, celebrating Madrid right now, and just shut up and just accept the defeat and move on. Yeah. So I just needed to say that.
Okay, Chief. We take the defeat.
Right.
We'll shut up. Real Madrid people. Oh, you know what? Tonight when we meet for the DB and the chilling, before I even say hello, I gotta post something down. So everywhere I say I'll post something down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
Thank you.
Now you're speaking good English.
Over Satan power, residing Kunimo. I'm an overcomer. Yes, wedding Kunimo. Over Satan power, residing Kunimo. See, I'm an overcomer. I say yes, wedding Kuni.
Yes, wedding Kuni. Over Satan power, desire in Kuni. I'm an overcomer.
I say yes, wedding Kunimo.
Yes, wedding Kuni. Over Satan power, desire in Kuni. I'm an overcomer.
Abadina, woman to Hosanna.
Hosanna.
I'm for Hinarbo.
Hosanna.
Jesus Nurbano.
Hosanna.
I'm for Hinarbo.
Hosanna.
Woman to Hosanna.
Hosanna.
Jesus Nurbano.
Hosanna.
I mean, I won't bother say.
Hosanna.
Jesus Nurbano.
Hosanna.
Who is this King of glory? He's the Lord strong and mighty. Yes, we're in Kunimo. See, I'm an overcomer. Listen, no weapon fashioned against me shall prosper. For the greater one lives in me, yes, it does. Yes, yes, we're in Kunimo. See, I'm an overcomer. I say, yes, we're in Kunim.
Yes, wedding Kuni.
I'll say,
Over Satan power, desire in Kuni.
see, I'm an overcomer.
I'm an overcomer.
I say, yes, we're in Kunim.
Yes, wedding Kuni.
Oh, yeah.
Over Satan power, desire in Kuni. I'm an overcomer.
I'm a ding now, I'm getting to Hosanna.
Hosanna.
I am Jesus Narbano.
Hosanna,
Wamyantu Hosanna.
Hosanna,
Hey, I am for Hinarabo. Handkerchief. Wamyantu Hosanna. I am for Hinarabo. Jesus Narbano. I am for Hinarabo. Wamyantu Hosanna. To the King and Lord of Lords.
I beg you, yeah. Mr. Kana, you know what's interesting? Just before we get to the topic, yeah, you know what's interesting? The
No.
same people that are writing on here, the music boo, the acting like the in church will be the same people that will cause us jail. Soon we start holding a political leader accountable. All the people that we talk, see, glory to God, hallelujah, amen. They come and cause us jail. The same people. So listen,
I even care about the people.
We're not here
Yeah,
for that.
no, just dancing. Oh,
you're not full God. But we either we will hold your political leader there accountable. You won't cause your cause. We're not get problem.
yeah.
I want to start off. I want to start
Yeah,
off.
I just going. Oh, sad.
Yeah, this song here now. We not play this song again.
This song here can put me in jail too late.
Yeah, but you can make us confused when you start. Why you can be moving, dancing?
Yeah.
Next time I would do, I would take a screenshot of you dancing in the back, you and Milborn, and play it for the people so that they can see exactly the kind of moves that you got.
Don't make people can't say me. I already think kind of Christian because the kind of way I was dancing to this song here and now for fun.
Yeah, I will play it. I will play it when we go to the brother who attire event this coming Saturday. I will play that song. I will put you in situation you can't handle. The only way I will not do it unless you agree to join Barcelona. You agree?
Hey,
Even that will come back again.
thank you.
I will never join Barcelona.
You guys every bring one trouble.
The time when I hear Melbourne join Barcelona, something.
Hey, see. My big yeah, John, what can I say? Barcelona, where?
Even that will come back again. I will never join.
Man, we can.
Okay, well,
Barcelona used to be good. I never joined it. They now do like.
Yeah, when Ronaldinho there, you know that Ronaldinho there very bad. Yeah.
Describe it. Now there's nothing there. I won't join it.
Okay.
Anyway, you can hear the way she can say, I'm a bomb.
Thank you.
Me, I'm a bomb. I'm a bomb.
Boss in the
I
shade.
can never be Barcelona fan.
Oh, wow.
Barcelona got Barcelona.
Okay, we're not gonna power that one. Well,
Yeah.
let's get to the issue of Legends really quick before we talk about Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka's interview. We have the opportunity for the people to call in based on our views here. But let's get into the issue of Legends really quick. First of all, Legends did an aptitude test, and I was trying to see if that's something that is common in Liberia, especially these aptitude tests. But let's, for my Oman or my papa who don't understand what the aptitude test mean, let me make it clear to them. So, aptitude test. So that one of the things we do in our work, that one of the things we do. So the reason we do that is after you've done a psychological evaluation or somebody gone through a treatment and they want to be rehabilitated into society. Sometimes we do these aptitude tests, not necessarily for people who have mental issues or substance abuse. It's not mutually exclusive to them. To anybody, the aptitude test can be conducted. So basically, we do these aptitude tests. We want to find out, that's not something that you can go study for. You know, we just want to find out if you will present skills in certain area stronger than certain area for us to determine. So I had one sister who was confused about her major, what she wanted to do. And so she really wanted us to do the aptitude test to get her to understand some things. So we kind of did the aptitude test to see where her strength lies. So we realized that based on the aptitude test, you know, her strength really lies in things like nursing, as opposed to things like, let's say, computer or engineering stuff, because she didn't like the math part. She wasn't too good with it, but she was mostly good with, you know, nursing, caring, other things like that. So It's just a predictive test to be able to tell where your strength lies to some extent. So I'm a little confused as to why they just use this test. Was it to kill time, to buy time, or to misappropriate resources, or was it meant to get rid of a certain group of people, to isolate, alienate, or how did they determine who passed or who failed, whatever? So I'm a little confused, Mr. Kane. What do you say about this? Because this is not common to Liberia. Talking about using aptitude tests.
First of all, let our people understand first what is legis, right? Any institution in Liberia, especially governmental institution under this government, most of them, their way of doing things does not actually represent the name that they are carrying. What they're trying to do is similar to what happened to LLCC. When they are trying to get rid of something, they will create some fake scenario, use that, and get rid of people. So LLCC was created. The idea created LLCC is to hold government officials accountable. Government officials who are engaged in corruption, to hold them accountable, to keep them in check. And anyone is found or suspicious of corruption can be investigated and sent to Ministry of Justice for prosecution. When they know that 2 or 3 ministries were involved, were being flagged, were involved in corruption at the ministerial, whatever they call it, meeting they are in Ganta, what they did. They start to prosecute the guy there, the chairperson. And guess what? They dissolved that institution as we know it. Try to create some fake laws, making it to look like, it's about the law. It's about changing the Nothing happened to that law. Everything was okay. But simply because the law, was against what they were doing, they said, "Oh, we're going to create new laws. Everybody who are member of LCC we're going to be dismissed, but they are free to reapply." Same thing. So when you say free to reapply, that means you are automatically out of there. But once you come back now to reapply, they can choose now who to take, who not to take.
Right.
Similarly, because that is that was the motive to get rid of certain people. So as is right now, whatever you call attitude test, whatever test they're trying to do, it's not about the test. It's about getting rid of certain people and put in people that they want to put there. That's all. It's nothing real. It's all fake. For some reason, I can't just help myself. Every time when I try to even say some good things about this government, I let some of their good things. Every day they're doing some stupid stuff that can really, really help them. Imagine every day you are bringing negative upon yourself, negative upon negative, negative upon negative every day. Even you attempt to want to say good thing about the government, you can be ashamed of yourself if you have conscience. Because it's very hard to defend lies, Steve.
It is.
It's very hard. But I wanted to say something about. You see, they can dismiss people and then sometimes regret why. Because the dismissal are not based on facts. They are not based on people's performance. It's all based on gossip. Who is singing properly for George Weah, who is not? who bring more gossip to George Weah or who is not. So at the end of the day, they will even end up losing some good people. Listen to that guy, the former chairman of LACC. Listen to him. Some good guys, professional people that can bring some credibility and integrity to the government. But yet, they dismiss him. So by the time you want to highlight or want to do your job properly, which will also somehow unveil some of the misbehavior of some of the other government officials who are close to the government, who are close to the president, they will find a way to get rid of you. So it is not about any text or an attempt to regulate or to bring any sanity to the institution. It's just about getting rid of few people. That's pretty simple.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Kane. You know, these are some of the things that and I will have to agree with you, Mr. Kane. There is no need for creating this extra bureaucracy, especially without there is no time. What has been the process that has been in place? If that's in process, it's not right and it needs to be revisited. Then you bring it to the public. How did they get to this whole thing? And you know, interestingly, I met the guy who's, oh Lord, we fought out inside. Let me tell you, we fought out inside. I forgot his name. He was introduced to me here in Phoenix, Arizona, at some kind of event. I think I got a picture. We are all on that picture. Mr. Kane, we sat briefly into a meeting. The guy who's in charge of Legends now, he was initially accused of corruption before. He has always been in some kind of shenanigans in connection with corruption. As a matter of fact, he's one of McGill's and Samuel Tuer's mission picking. I'm just forgetting his name, but I got his pictures here. And I sat.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I think his name is Wimont Smith.
Wimont. That is the guy. I've met Wimont. Mr. Kane, based on the conversation we had, no disrespect to Wimont was clueless about what he was supposed to do, his job. But not only that, Wimont was just drinking, very intoxicated into that conversation we're having that night. I said, but then how can this guy be responsible for this guy? You know what it means? The job that you got? You don't even understand your primary role. Just to tell us what your primary role, the man just checking and fighting to answer your own role and responsibility. All they do is allocate money, push money around on corruption level, drink, talk BB things, and then talk things that don't make any sense, confuse the public and confuse the people. And to be honest, Mr. Kane, after we left that conversation, I did some extensive research on Wimont. Wimont is always in some kind of corruption noise. Even here, a man go to Lagos and so Lagos Bado got to get missing. He just always in some kind of funny thing. You know, as funny as it sounds, no disrespect to him as a person, but you don't want to put these kind of people in front that don't know what they are doing. It brings huge noise. It impacts the issue of credibility. And that is a problem. That is a problem. And as time goes by, we'll expand more on Wimont. Because I'm doing our research on Wimont. Wimont left the Grand Canyon University, where I teach currently. We want to find out. Unfortunately, I could not get the information I requested as to what went on there. A report must come out so the Labrador can know who Wimont is. Yes. Unreliable sources have told us that Wimont was kicked out of the program at the university at Grand Canyon because he could not even meet up with the grade standard or requirements. We are in trouble. We are in trouble as a nation. And you take this man because you think this guy will do your dirty deed when you tell him to do something funny, and you bring him to making somebody big over the kind of big issue that could create chaos in the country, and you think this is a joke? This is not a joke. President George Weah and the CDC needs to be careful. They need to be serious. And not friendship business. They think we must handle it in a serious way. But let's pivot. Let's move from the whole legit thing, yeah. Oh, okay, but we got good news today. We got good news today.
Yeah. So quickly before we leave from legis, those people were talking something about the government always shooting themselves, and because their legis were recruiting 29,829 persons, and with maybe among those people, according to them, according to their first preliminary list of people that maybe released, according to them, out of the total number of applicants that applied, 9,908 are females and 19,921 are males. Of these numbers, 3 hold PhDs. So you get that right. You have 3% vying for the job. Yeah, that whole PhD.
And the reason they didn't want to put these guys there, because these guys are competent enough to.
Thank you. So that there when I'm coming, when Sekou was talking about the government shooting themselves in there, because you can't get all the kind of people, vying for the kind of, but that go 114 were masters. So just imagine 114 persons were masters, and we have 4,311 persons who BScs. And we have 1,841 post-secondary and 23,560 are high school students. So just imagine, you have all these people and you playing on their intelligence. If you making it to go up and down without no here and take. So I don't want to just bring back to what Sekou just said about the government. If the government is not careful, I think something serious, because with their news, there are a lot of protest news coming up, hitting from every counties. And not only right here in Montserrat, but every county now, people are calling us back to back about this thing. That in fact that they're not satisfied with the way the system is going. They are not satisfied with the entire legis or recruitments. If I had a recruiting, because you can't go for attitude test, the result was to come the same day. You promise the people that yes, your result will come the same day. And the result sleep for about days. Now the result come up. The people that someone believe in themselves, okay, the result, I want to challenge the result. He said no. The test. So when you get test, let someone challenge the test. Because some people feel that yes, I can score 100 in the test. And you deny them of that little opportunity for them to go work. There are a lot of people that want to work, young people that want to work. Now you are there doing all sort of things, doing pick and choosing your own according to what we're getting. That those, in fact, the frustrating thing about it is that some people travel from here to go play there, even Nima. Then, for example, you go credit money. Then you go Grand Basso. They say you Grand Basso. The house one, the listing that came up, the higher leg. Either you find your new way in Lofa County. So you fall to go to the test there. So if you not go well, they leave with you. And either you be replaced. So that have the kind of system, you just see either male name, you see, or maybe to woman, in fact, you see female picture, you see male picture, you see to male name, you see female, or the system just too soon for that. So I think lecturers have to do better. They have to double up their effort.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kane. We would like to pivot. You are 100% correct. We'd like to pivot to Jose Yuma Boaka's interview. First of all, from a general sense, because we told you that as the election draw closer, in order to get the Liberian people informed, we do research on everything any political leader says. We've done some research on the LPNC that Jose Yuma Boaka has taken credit for. We'll provide you with the facts for you to go and argue it. We'll provide a Liberian. But overall, let's get a general sense of what you make of the interview of Vice President Jose Yuma Boaka most recently. What do you make of that? The interview, Mr. Melbourne. First of all, let's hear from you. Then Mr. Kane will.
Sorry though, like receiving calls on the same thing, people calling back to back. But anyway, folks, for those of you that are in Radio Land at 7 o'clock, we'll not break you the 50 minutes of news. The management said we should continue with the program up 8 o'clock on tonight. So thank you so much to the management of Truth FM. And yeah, back to that question or that thing you just said. Yes, the former vice president were here sometime this month on the True Breakfast show. And actually, the entire interview, you really feel that, yeah, you really feel at home, you really enjoy the interview, and it was so good. Everybody admire, everybody admire. So I want to say thanks to the host, yes, the True Breakfast show team for a job well done. At least, sometimes whenever old people come around, you got to treat them that way, even though it's a good game, you say, you're going to do, but but yeah, so for me, I pick up two things from the old man. So chief, you always
It's okay.
yeah, thank you. So I pick up two things from his interview. The first thing I pick up from there was the issue of Liberia not going anywhere, Liberia not progressing, and the president said that in fact Liberia is like Miami. So the vice president said that maybe they meant thinking that maybe I don't know what they meant thinking about Miami, that beautiful place, and Liberia is not going anywhere. But for you to be comparing Liberia with other Miami, then I mean the president is not doing well. That one. Two, the president talk about the former vice president talked about his 100 days in office. The question was placed to him as to doing his 100 days in office, what's going to be first major attack and so on. And he said that or doing his 100 days, no car going to hitch in the mud. Yes, when he said that feeling, because I was also in the studio Kevin live also on the SKTV. So when he said that, I got a little bit furious and something I want to but why is it that the former vice president talking about 100 days there'll be no car hitch in the mud? So one thing that came to my mind, say maybe he's talking about the dry season, because usually Liberia or maybe Liberian presidents always taking over from January. So maybe I'm talking about maybe from January to that March, no car going to hitch. That what come to my mind. But if maybe if they're not political or maybe thing that you were talking about, then for me, I don't know. But the bigger problem right now is just beyond any kind of just mere political talk, and think that maybe you just come and maybe say, yes, this one going to happen in less than 2-3 months time, which of course, if you don't have all those things, the mechanism that you need to put maybe in place, or thing that you need money and so on, then that means it will not work as you want it to work. So these are things that I capture from the former vice president interview. Even though he talk about peace, reconciliation, young people should respect their older folks. We should take time how we do our politics. We are a small country and so on. We just talk a lot of things, but for me, these are two major things that I capture from his interview. And when the interview came up, let me just quickly, when the interview get through, the next day there were a lot of reactions. There are a lot of things people were saying on social media. Everybody had their own views, as to what some people said, in fact, the man was deceptive. In fact, there was no truth into his statement. There are a lot of things that people said. Other people said at least the man did well. Thank God, at least that when we elect him in another 100 days, our car, in fact, will have paved road and so on. So there are a lot of mixed reactions after the interview.
Lots of mixed reaction after the interview. Mr. Kane, what do you say?
I did not watch the interview live, but I watched it after. I didn't even know it was on SKTV. Somebody told me, "Oh, the VP was on the radio and it was live on SKTV." I said, "Okay." So I went there and I started listening to the interview. In all fairness, I think the VP was feeling very comfortable. It was, you could tell from the body language that he was free and kind of feel at home. I don't know for what reason at Truth FM. I think that was really good. Um, but when it comes to the substance of the interview, and this is not any attempt of trying to look down on the Omer, but I believe there were a lot of information there that were not uh, actually accurate. But again, I think the Omer, I see nothing new, honestly speaking. I just believe that I still believe that the Omer being forced to run for president. But who am I to say don't run? There was nothing new in the interview. The only new thing was that when the woman said he was on his lane as opposed to being a race, because it's one thing for a car to be parked. It's a race car. That means something that can move very fast, but was parked, was not utilized. That was the first statement in the past. But this time around, it was not parked. It was on his lane. And it was on his lane for the purpose of not being considered or not being looked at somebody who wants to overshine or how outshine his boss. So I don't know which one actually is what. Because I vividly remember when the vice president said one time that he had a very cordial relationship with then President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. That every time Ellen spoke, she mentioned him, and he advised her on a lot of issues, and their relationship was very cordial. He said that. But if one day you say you was just risk park car, you were not utilized. The other day, the lady, the president took a lot of advice from you. She listened to you. She mentioned you every time for the successes, of the government. But another time again, you were just on your lane. You were now actually working. That signifies a huge inconsistency and credibility issue, because you have to be stable when it comes to giving an account of what you did. But if there are a lot of inconsistency and misstatements, it brings about a lot of credibility issue on your part. And that also brings me to what I said earlier. When you are yourself, you are speaking based on facts. You are speaking as you. It's different from where you are being taught what to say and how to say it. It will bring a lot of inconsistency, because those are not you. Those are not your statements. People telling you what to say, as opposed to you knowing what to say or what you did. No disrespect to the vice president. I believe there were a lot of inconsistency and some will call it misinformation on the interview. But overall, Liberia is what it is, Steve. Even if the vice president went over there and sat and said nothing, those who supported him will still support him and still believe that he is their guy. And the reason is not because they believe he's capable or not capable of those things, because they believe their ego is with him. They can only achieve their objectives through him. So they don't care about his performance. They don't care about his consistency or inconsistency. They don't care about accuracy or inaccuracy about what he says. All they care about is what is in it for them. So even if this man went over there and said anything, you know, dishonesty, inconsistency, or whatever he says, they don't care. Those that are supporting him, they will still support him, they'll still believe in whatever he says. They will even get angry at you if you try to fact check some of the things that were said by him, regardless. And those who are now with him, that don't believe in him, regardless of what he says, they don't care. They're not going to follow him. So Liberia, we are at a point where everybody kind of dug in. You have a lot of blind loyalists who are supporting certain people for their own selfish ego and care less about the rest of the people. So yeah, the interviewers, depending the eyes of the beholders, those who support him, they were giving kudos. They say, yeah, the VP did well. It was excellent. It was good. But those who pay attention and try to really fact check, we find a lot of flaws and misinformation, dishonesty, and inconsistency in the interview. So that's what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Thanks to Milborn as well. The first thing one of the reasons we are scrutinizing all of these political leaders and political parties is we believe by 2017 or 2016, the internet, Facebook, Live, and other things was not proliferated as it is today. In other words, it was not all around. We never had maybe Facebook Live at that time, or even if around too many people were not attracted to it, or it was not as popular as it is today. And so some might claim that President George Weah had a clean slate. In other words, President George Weah was never fact checked. As evidence by that, people would come up and say President George Weah had 85 million. Well, those things need to be fact checked. Those are not information that you keep hanging in the air. And whether you're a talk show host, you're a journalist, or whatever it is, once you engage into this business, you should do your due diligence. I think we should do that as Liberians because we care about the country, because we love the country, and because we want the betterment of the country. It is not necessarily that you hate a certain person or you don't support this person, you support the other person, or you won't be disrespectful, whatever it is. These are fact-checking reality questions. Many of you would record, and some of you watched it, whether live, or some of you still go back to rewatch it as of today, or whether you just listen to the audio. There was this guy, he's on MNBC now. The other day, I was with Sekou, we were watching the news, and I saw his show that came up. This guy was able to fact-check President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He asked her realistic questions. And when he started to ask realistic questions, President Ellen Johnson fell on ease. She fell a certain way. And instead of focusing on the answers to the question, she felt this guy was attacking her or was making the conversation uncomfortable for her. And that is a common reaction we have from people who would not like to be held accountable or they want to divert from the conversation. For example, when I listened to JNB's interview, I kind of put it in 3-4 different segments. The first thing I want to bring to the Liberian attention about my overview of Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka's interview is there was a sense of overconfidence from Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka. Now, in most recent days, when I've seen or heard Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka very confident, it led to problems. It led to division and it led to trouble. I'll give you an example. Let me give you memory lane. Let me take you to the memory lane because we would discuss this easily, peacefully. Whether you want to insult us, you want to say anything, that's fine, but we'll make sure we pass the message on. When Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka took over the CPP, there was that time of overconfidence and zealousness within him. As evidenced by that, when he gave his speech after he took over that day from Senator Yomikanga Lawrence, when he gave his speech, he made promises to the Liberian people. that the CPP was going to hold, the CPP was going to do this, the CPP was going to do that, that the CPP was going, he was so going to make everything fine, the CPP, that there will be no option but winning and winning and winning. Only to find out after a few days or after a few weeks, Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai pulled out of the CPP, regardless of the reason. He was the chairperson and he pulled out. These are historical facts. I didn't make it up. SKTV didn't make it up. So when I saw him in the same zealousness and momentum, it reminded me that something is not right. Are we about to see another replay? But on top of that, let's get into the substance. I would have to agree with Mr. Kane that Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai put a lot of deliberate, deceptive, and misleading information to the Liberian people. And I have a problem with that.
Okay.
When a leader, I have a problem with it. It's concerning. If it's not concerning to you, then you should not question President George Weah. You should not be the people or the ones that will question President George Weah. Few days ago, when President George Weah came to the UN General Assembly, regardless, he is the president, but he's a national leader. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai is a national leader, has served as a national leader for so many years. To come in public and not fact check the information that he is providing and give it to the public with a strict face is a problem. It's concerning. Even keeping in with her age and quote unquote the wisdom is even more concerning. Let's keep all factors constant. President George Weah is not educated. He doesn't know the job. He's incompetent. He's in error. President George Weah came to the UN General Assembly and lied with straight bullface, or he did not say the truth. But then the Vice President, Joseph Yuma Boakai, who is the odious of all of the political aspirants now, cannot replicate or do similar thing. It's wrong. So then how the opposition or people who support Joseph Yuma Boakai lay the contrast here. But I broke down his interview into just one or two segments. Let me just point it out, and I put it on my Facebook page. I was very concerned about a few things. First of all, his 100 days plan. His 100 days plan. I was concerned about that. Again, deception and deliberate deceiving the Liberian people. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai was alert and oriented in that station when he did an interview. There was no impairment because he understood the question, he consented to answering, and he did answer. No one was there to tell you anything. So we can't come here. Nobody should go and go spin it. The same way President George Weah was alert and oriented when he read what he read. Let's move far forward. I was also concerned about Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai's assertion about investors, that he would bring investors in the country. Considering most recently, Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai told us that he lays on loan. How does he bring investor? Since he's been vice president. Even his coming to the United States, the most recent trip, we saw Costa and other people behind him. What a high-profile meeting. Who did he sit with? Who are these people that he met that he can tell the Liberian people that will repose that confidence in him? We saw President George. We had people lying about for President George. We had the same way. When they told us because President George, we had played football. So he was going to bring investors in from Europe. He was going to bring that other person. Since he took over, no serious-minded person has ever come to Liberia to talk about investment. I stand to be corrected. But let's move fast forward to another thing. Because these are preludes and things that we need to look at as Liberians. Nothing against the vice president, but we have to hold this thing into check and clear the air. Another part also, I was concerned about resources and logistics for the elections. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai took credit for LPNC. Well, good thing, thank God the SKTV, we have time on hand for Liberian politicians to do fact checks and the research. We do. Let me tell you today, when you are sleeping and snowing, we are doing the research. So we have time. Let's talk about LPNC a little bit. because Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaga has been taking credit for LPNC, the growth for LPNC, and so forth. So let's tell the Liberian people what really happened between the period of 1980 and 1987. There are reports to prove it. People documented these things. And the sources that we're going to provide to you, they are credible. So based on that, let's stick with that. But before we get to the LPNC, I wanted to clear something out. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai talked about something in Arizona in his speech about the president of the university here in Arizona. Let me clear something out. Let me clear the air on something. Let me tell you something. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai, it is a fact that he has relationships and he's built connections here in Arizona. It's a fact. That is not a lie. There is nothing lie about that part. No, nothing. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai, as evidenced by that, Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai's friend, who is Dr. Bob Sherman, who is the president emeritus of the Liberian Association of Arizona, will be our guest on the show next Sunday because he has a PhD in economy. He will be here to talk about the economy, talk about what the Liberian Association of Arizona has done with the workings to provide, to help like the Liberian government and so forth, and some of the connections, which I am aware of. Because you know what? I sat in some of those meetings. I'm the current president. I have the briefings and the documentations. And I know, even up to the July 26th, we had huge proclamation from the governor's office, the city mayor office, and we even had it from somewhere else again, somebody, the top 3 people, the Secretary of State, the top 3 people that run the state of Arizona. We have proclamation from them. But he will be here to talk more about some of these things. But I want to talk about the vice president's relationship with the president of the University of Arizona State. Yes, they do have a relationship and a connection. I don't know to what extent. But I'm aware that every MOU that was signed here, it was not signed for Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai. I want to clear that part up. It was signed for the Liberian government. We got to be clear on some of these things so that one person don't take credit and use it as a political message or as a political stunt. Because we are not about, in Arizona, we're not about political party or no political party. We have people who are seditious that are part of the Liberian Association here. We have people who are from the UP that are part of the Liberian Association here. We have people who are from the Liberty Party, the ANC, whatever party. We are about Liberia here. Whatever negotiations, whatever things that are brought or given, it is given for Liberia, not necessarily a political leader. I'm not going to go into some details here today. When Dr. Sherman comes, we'll both lay emphasis on some of these things and try to clear the air. Again, if there is a separate agreement between Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai and the president of Arizona State University, I have no clue about it. What I have clue about is what I'm speaking about. And I know that for a fact because there are documents to these effects in these MOUs for the Liberian government. We have to be clear on some of these things, my people. Sending up miscommunication or misinformation is not the right thing.
So you wanted to give us information about LPNC. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to move on to LPNC next. So LPNC, very interesting company, very interesting place in the government. LPNC, the Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai served at LPNC. When you read different articles, you hear about something called.
Steve, now your face keep going off the camera.
Oh, let me set it this way because
exactly.
It's better this way, right?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I get some of the quotation rights because a lot of information. I don't want to say something that's not truth. But let's move fast forward. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai served at LPNC. That is a fact. There's a record of it on here. Anywhere between 1980, maybe to 1985. 1986 or 1987, giving credit for 1987, but at least from 1980 onwards. Let's give him credit to 1987 for the benefit of this conversation. So there's no lapse here. At least let's give him that credit. But there are reports, and one of these reports, remember the word that we use here, PL 480. That word is important because that word was not developed by the Liberian government at the time in 1980 when Doden took over. It was not. It was not. It was developed by the American government as part of the coding to the articles or the things that they were subsidized or they were paid for, things that they were financed. So here's the article that, and this article was a report actually from Honorable Edward N. Kennedy, who was back then a U.S. Senate, he was part of the Senate. He was a senator, Edward M. Kennedy. This report was submitted in July of 1987. Please pay attention because this is important. And here is a title on the report. Liberia need to improve accountability and control over U.S. assistance. So the Senate finally concluded that it will help Liberia, but Liberia needed to ensure that they have control over it. This is interesting. This is very good information. It could give you an insight, and I'm not saying this for a fact, as to maybe why Doe recalled Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai at the time, or fired Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai. And we are still doing extensive research to substantiate this case. But let's stick with, for today, let's stick with the LPNC, why Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai takes credit as though he came and just turned it over and it started being productive. That is not true. That was not what happened based on the documentations that we have in our possessions, based on the reports that we have in our possession. So on July 16 of 1987, Senator Kennedy wrote, let me just read one or two quick to you. I will tell you how much they allocated and all of that. Quote, in response to your letter on June 18, 1986, so it took about a year. On June 18, 1986, in response to your letter, and based on subsequent discussion with your office, we examine U.S. economy, food, and security assistance program to Liberia since 1980 to determine whether controls over U.S. funds are adequate. The programs we reviewed included Economic Support Fund, which is the ESF, Development Assistance, which is the DA, Public Law, which is the PL. And then the title is as 48 title, Full Aid, and Barracks Construction component of military assistance. Our analysis did not cover Peace Corps program. So which means the Peace Corps, they didn't cover that part. The internal military education and training program of the non-construction element of military assistance. The report provides a more detailed discussion of the issues presented in our February 13, 1987 briefing report entitled Liberia, Problems in Accountability and Control over U.S. Assistance. The result of our work I summarized below, and detailed information in the appendix I through IV. This is what they gave to Joseph Yuma Boakai then. You're listening for full assistance. By that time, 1980, they gave them 85 million United States dollars just for full assistance. You're listening. So when you hear Joseph Yuma Boakai and other people taking credit for the LPNC, we must question how they use the money. And in subsequent time, because of this particular article, we are going to break down how they use that money based on the report we have here with us. In other words, when you hear Joseph Yuma Boaga say Labro the bread basket at that time, think about this. 1985, somebody gave you 85 million for rest project or for just agriculture project. You know how much 85 million worth 1980? Do you know how much that translated to at the time? Mind you, we never had inflation and all of these different things at that time. Though they had just taken over, lots of money was put in. You can even compare that maybe to the early-led government if you want to translate or compare it. So this picture we are printing, we have seen this picture before. Joseph Yuma Boaga over LPNC at the time had 85 million to his disposal. And you say Labrosse shouldn't be the bread basket at that time? And you want to take so much credit? Labrosse should have been more than the bread basket. If you really want to look at it in context. Yes, Labrosse should have been more than the bread basket. What are you talking about? Labrosse should have been more than the bread basket. But for the sake of time today, and the sake of teaser, without detail, go through the detailed report because we have the report. And we have the full way of how it was spent to the point that the U.S. government started to question. These are part of the reasons they started to have meeting about how this money was spent and the level of accountability. So, Mr. Kane,
Yeah, so
unless you have question or whatever it is, then
I just wanted to go back a little bit to the interview because some guys on this platform been written like Sekou, Steve, you guys are just talking, but you're not pointing out to any misinformation or contradiction, from the vice president's interview. So some of you who actually listened to the interview, when the vice president was asked about what is he doing, United Party, whether they are strong or stronger going into the 2023 elections, he said, we are very stronger. We are forming a collaboration. We are in a collaboration. He was asked. He said whether that was stronger than before. He said, yes. He said, in fact, here is one of the lies, because maybe when I say there were a lot of misinformation, that you think that was very soft, but that was a lie. He said, there was a collaboration. You don't know what was working against us. But in fact, in that collaboration, 1 out of 4, he said 1 drop off. 3, the 3 are still in the collaboration. He said 1 drop off. Is that true? Who actually dropped off?
2 dropped off.
Because okay, let's take it from honesty and integrity standpoint. When you speak, words matter. If the vice president say we were 4 in the collaboration, 1 drop off, and the 3 stayed together, when in fact you were the one that went on the radio, on the national radio, that you are dropping off, then who is honest here? Who is telling the truth? Do you truly believe that it was the ANC that dropped off of the CPP, or it was JNB and ALP dropped off of the CPP? So when we talk, you guys just want a lot to talk. I don't like to disrespect older people. But when we somehow speak in a softer tone, some of you think that, we don't know the facts. We're just trying to, we're trying to be nice. when the vice president said we were 4 in the collaboration, but 1 drop, you know that was a lie. For his age, for his stature in the Liberian society, it is wrong to tell a lie openly like that when people know the fact. It just happened yesterday, and they are on record. When you went and took the podium, that we have all decided to go our pathway, separate way. You said that on the radio, on the international radio, on televisions, that you are dropping off. Now you're going to tell the world again that the other people drop off. Okay, granted. Collaboration in its original form, it was called CPP. You did not drop off. Who is now carrying the name of the collaboration? See, is the person that dropped off supposed to carry it, or the person that stays in? I mean, so we want to really sharpen the contradiction and misinformation. You were 4 in a group. You say I'm dropping, another person will staying. Those that stay, they have the name, they carry the name, and they are recognized legally by the National Election Commissions, by the court. They are recognized as the CPP, as we know it. You CPP in its original form, you came to the public and said you are dropping off. You said things were working against you, but yet still have the courage to look at the people in the face and say, hey, even though this is what happened, but I'm choosing to tell you otherwise. Do you come in here asking us? You have not pointed to one contradiction of the omen. That's just one. There are a lot in there. But we don't want to put ourselves in a position where trying to be opposition to Boakai to discuss. No. What we said and we maintain, there were a lot of contradictions, misinformation. Let me give you another one. The old race park car, our comment. That comment was meant to say Joseph Boakai had the ability, is capable of doing anything to take Labrador forward, but he was not given the opportunity. That's what it meant. He tried to somehow exonerate himself from the flaws of Ellen's government. Yeah, I was there, but I was not given a chance to perform. That's what he said. At some other point in another interview, he said, go ask the president. She and I have a very cordial relationship. And every time the president spoke, she gave me credit for giving her good advice. That is a contradiction. One day the president was, you were the best person to advise her. The other day, no, you were not consulted. You were just a old race park car. And in this recent interview, the most recent interview, he was no longer a park car. He was just on the different lane. He was moving. It was a moving car now. But he was just trying to stay in his lane. Some of you are just one-dimensional thinkers. You're just going straight. You're not looking behind. You're not looking forward. You're not checking on the side, very mirror, nothing. You're just going straight. When somebody says it's black, it's black. You're not seeing any other color. You're just going there because your brain is not mature enough to analyze, to have critical analysis or critical thinking about stuff when people say it. Me, when you tell me today is white, you will stick to me. Tomorrow, when you say that black, I will ask you, well, why you told me yesterday was white? Because at least I know how to ask questions. I know how to keep something in my mind when you say it. When you say something else, I will ask you again, what happened? So the old man, with all due respect, we respect him. But in that interview, he shot himself in the foot so many times. If I was CDC propagandist or ANC propagandist, trust me, there are a lot of damages the old man inflicted on himself in that interview. Because there are a lot of contradictions. There are a lot of misinformation. Let me tell you this. The old man was asked, when you walk around Liberia today, Monrovia, what do you see? He said you see a lot of confusion, bunch of confused people with no sense of direction or no sense of governance. But just yesterday, you were perambulating the same city with the same bunch of confused people with no sense of direction, serving as state witness, going to dinner with Sharina Cephas, taking you around in their car, working with a bunch of confused people with no sense of direction, and they put you in their category, make you look like some kind of clueless, somebody who that like somebody who just never been in the city before. For the first time, just come in the city, they go put you in some kind of car. When they put it down, you start looking everywhere. It's like seeing people that you never seen before, looking all confused. You allow himself, exposing yourself to some level of ridicule, public ridicule at that rate. Same people that when you go around the city, you see them, they're a bunch of confused people with no sense of direction, but you elected to be with the same people. Just yesterday. So since when? Since when they become confused? They're confused now. That is also another contradiction. If you knew these people were a bunch of confused people with no sense of direction, you would not be in cahoot with them in a conspiracy theory, in a trump up charges against your friend, your colleague. How can Vice President Joseph Nyima Boaka say we were full in our collaboration when one person dropped off? Trust me. Hey, that is not a contradiction. I don't know what that is, Steve.
Well, there's another inconsistency that it should be pointed out to the Liberian people. First time we ever heard Vice President Joseph Nyima Boaka speak about his plan to rescue Liberia, his agenda, or whatever, he termed it as roll, and roll. That was his first assertion. So, okay, everybody was like, okay, what's up with this roll? Less than 3 months or 6 months, Vice President Joseph Nyima Boaka came back and said his new agenda is arts. ARTS. Fine. In the same 2021, he gave us two different things. Which one do we hold him back? Fast forward, 2022, the most recent interview, Vice President Joseph Nyima Boaka is talking about arrest, or whatever you want to term it as. AREST. Okay, which one do we take now? Why are you trying to confuse the people? But Mr. Kane, you said something that was important. I just want to throw a light on before, maybe we turn to the phones or so forth. And this is Vice President Joseph Nyima Boaka and the United Party people should even be thanking us for holding them accountable and pointing out some of these inconsistency and discrepancy this early, because this could be used against them during campaign. They need to get their acts together. The Liberian people are not stupid. When you start jittering and start flip-flopping like this, when you say one thing here today, tomorrow you say another. The same thing with the race car issue. 1 minute you race car, 1 minute you which one do we take now? Look, don't confuse us, because you will not be able to confuse us. If you are consistent about something in politics, you take a stand, let people say, okay, then you make the case on your stand. But you'll be making a case on the other stand. People trying to find reason to understand what you're really saying. You switch it tomorrow to arrest. Okay, what thing want we talk? We won't call arrest again. What thing going on? That who come here arrest? So Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai, with the experience in government, the wisdom, as people will claim, needs to stay focused and start exhibiting confusion in public. They need to get their acts together. Whether they want to take it from you and I or not, this is a recommendation. They're free of charge. They need to get their act together. They need to be consistent with messaging and stop the flip-flop. Nobody is stupid here. That is the problem we have, the inconsistency. And maybe Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai, that's part of the reason they're refusing for Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai to come on this platform, because they know we asked Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai about that 85 million that the American government provided us at that time when they were in charge of LPNC, and how it was used. And I challenge any one of them to come here and make confusion and make confusing statements. We'll provide a report and ask the vice and fact checking in public, because that's what needs to be done. If we want the country to change, say we give President John Weah or clean slate, the people that who want to take over, let ask them about what they're going to do, what their platform are, and let's clarify any doubt. Then we can make a decision to say we'll support a person, we'll support her. You can't just say let's support a person because we won't remove George Weah. It's not about removing George Weah. No, it shouldn't be that. We should have a fixed agenda and we know what we are doing, so that when the people take over, we can hold them accountable. So we won't hold the vice president by now. Arrest, acts, or roll. Which one? Right now, which one will hold him back? Don't try to confuse us, man.
Let me point to something else. Let me point to something else that I listened to again. During that interview, the vice president was asked about whether he has any regret in the role that he played, whether it's the CPP being destroyed by them, whatever, and the court. He said, I wouldn't call it regret, but I didn't want to necessarily go testify against commies. I wanted to stay home to be interviewed, but the people came, they say we should go. I didn't know it was going to be 3 hours or 4 hours, but I just wanted to respect the law. Are you kidding me? You didn't want to go to testify against Boakai? I mean, or Cummings? But yet, you spoke even before the court and accepted that yes, indeed, Boakai, I mean, the Cummings committed a crime, right? They all agree that Cummings committed a crime, that Cummings forged document. And one of his able lieutenant, Benina Ure, was the one that took the Cummings to court. And the reason why Boakai was used as state witness because he agreed with Benina Ure. How can he say going there was not necessarily to go and testify against commies? So where does he stand, Steve? If he doesn't believe what the allegation against commies, but yet he still went there to testify. So you see, when I'm talking about contradictions and misinformation, Boakai is telling you, I didn't want to go there. But he did not show any resentment of not going there. And before that, it was Boakai himself that went and agreed that something went wrong with the document. That was the reason why he was invited to go and testify. Isn't that another contradiction, Steve?
But Mr. Kane, why did he want to go in the first place? Is it because he didn't believe the allegation? Or
That's what I'm saying.
why did he want to go there?
You said I didn't want to go there, so that means you didn't believe what you went there for.
More likely so.
But yeah, he was. That is trying to say was. He said, but he was forced by the Solicitor General and other people because he didn't want to be the one to say the man doesn't want to respect the law because you want to be president, but he doesn't want to respect the law. So which one? Yeah, those who are asking for contradictions and misinformation, which one now? Why didn't you want to go to court? Why do you want to testify against Commies if you believe that Commies committed the crime? What about his enablers, the accomplices who were on Facebook, on radio every single day, calling Commies criminal or criminal defendants? He didn't want to go there, but did he tell them, no, you got to stop this? No, nothing happened. Commies did not commit any crime. While Boakai said he didn't want to go to court, but he was forced by the government. Is that an honest statement?
Yes, it's just so interesting, and just sitting back and listening to both of you. But I don't want to ask two of you, but and that's what he said. I don't know. Should I say the opposition situation still deepening? It's still going. There'll be no understanding up to 2023 because from what we're seeing, I don't think that this situation will come to a rest, or maybe there'll be maybe a solution to the situation between the oppositions. And Steve just talked about you want the president to be one-term president. So then, I don't know. So to the two of you now, how can this situation be handled so that President Weah can be one-term president?
Well, let me put it away. On Tuesday, I will be profiling Joseph Yuma Boakai. Joseph Yuma Boakai has always operated in shadows. And I will talk about what I mean by that. It would not be surprising to me if Joseph Yuma Boakai endorses somebody else for 2023 election. It would not be surprising to me. It would also not be surprising to me if Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai states that he doesn't want to run or compete in the election come 2023. It would not be surprising to me. The issue of President George Weah's re-election 2023 is not dependent on the opposition coming together. President George Weah is doing everything to not be re-elected 2023. He is doing everything to not be re-elected 2023. Mm-hmm. That is his problem. The opposition is not President George Weah's problem. To be quite honest, President George Weah is his own problem. So that's how I see it.
So before I even go to President George Weah re-election, if you listen to the same interview, Melbourne, you carry life. George Weah been in office for 5 years. Joseph Yuma Boakai, as vice president, he served for 12 years. But before that, he served in several other positions. He's from Lofa. He is blaming this government that before you can travel to Lofa, that you got to pass through Sierra Leone. Think about this. I'm speaking based on honesty from somebody being honest and truthful to yourself and to the Liberian people. You from Lofa, you are not just anybody in the government. You spent 12 years as vice president. You serve as minister of agriculture. That's supposed to be action. That's supposed to be demanding the government to play a role. farm to market road. He's saying that in order for you to go to Lofa, you got to pass through Sierra Leone. If anybody with a conscience, that is honest to the Liberian people, you think he's going to be pointing finger to the government that been in office for 5 years, for your own country, when you were in power for 12 years, you did nothing, absolutely nothing for your country. But people who've been there for 5 years, you are blaming them for the misfortune on your country. Is that an honest statement? So you people talk about contradiction. You people talk about dishonesty and misinformation. You tell me. I'm not talking about other countries. Joseph Juma Bwaka telling the interviewer, if you want to know, just go to Lofa. As if to say, Labra was just created 5 years ago. And things are very bad on the way government. Nobody have the opportunity or the ability to change anything. But we are not doing enough. Is the worst person. He's telling you, go to Lofa. I was there for 12 years. I bear no responsibility for doing nothing.
Mhm.
But the people who just took over for 5 years, they're responsible for everything that happened. Say just thinking all one time. That's why they flogged them in Lofa. And if it happens again, what will happen in Lofa, I will not tell you. So, if Joseph Nimo Poake can be brave to tell the world, go to Lofa in 9 different countries. When he's from Lofa, he served for 12 years and he did nothing to pay role for people to go to Lofa freely, for people to transport their market. Isn't that say something? It does not say something to you in terms of being responsible, in terms of being honest, in terms of being truthful to the Liberian people. So, in short, whether or not opposition wins the presidency or presidency, I don't really care. You know what I care about? Who's going to be nice to the Liberian people? Who's going to be honest to the Liberian people? Who's going to do the Liberian people job? Even if George Weah changes today and start doing the right thing and stop the corruption, stop the stealing, and start to work for the Liberian people, and Liberian people start to feel the good thing, I will support him. I'm not talking about somebody else. I will support him if he does the right thing right now.
I will as well.
Who become president, the next president? I care about the Liberian people the most. So if the opposition let them do the right thing. If they let them unite. If they let them not unite. I don't care. I just want the good for the Liberian people. And again, it goes back to the same Liberian people who are voting. So to answer your question, Liberian people, they have the power in their hands. To either say we are happy with what we got now, Joia is good, Joia is doing good for all, we're happy, everything is good, they vote for him again, that they are business. Or they can say, you know what? You got your Baka being around. He served for more than 40 years in government. He served 12 years. You make him remember that he was the vice president for 12 years. Because he pointed finger now for people who been there for 5 years. He cannot remember that he was there for 12 years. But people who, you're not responsible for anything for 12 years. But people who been there for 5 years, they're responsible for everything. He cannot even remember. LeBron forget, you know what? We don't care. The people forget that he served for 12 years. We want them to come back to be president. Maybe after another 6 years, we'll remember that he's the president. Maybe LeBron can support, vote for Bwaka. If the team Bwaka will be the answer for that.
All right. So
for 12 years.
Yeah. So second, can just wrap it up on that because
Yeah,
of time. So yeah,
let me
so
conclude. Let me
for the
conclude.
people here in Liberia, yeah.
I know. Let me conclude. At the end of the day, Liberian people, it's up to you who you want to elect. Our job is to provide you the information needed to make an informed decision at the ballot box as to who you can vote for and why you should vote for them. So the phone line going to be open. I don't know. I don't know how many. We only got 3 minutes in Liberia. Maybe we'll not take calls in Liberia today. But maybe if you want to take two or three calls, that's fine. It's up to you, Maybon. But if you ask me, it's up to the Liberian people. Whoever they elect, that's fine for us. Our job is to tell them, who they are and what they are doing.
Thank you so much for that fair analysis. I think you are fighting for Mama Liberia instead of individual. I like that. So yeah, so Steve, we gotta go. No time. The next program is on our back.
Yeah, my man. The only thing I want to say to our people, like Sekou said, our job that to tell them exactly the truth. If you still know the truth and you still decide that you won't do what is wrong, that you're being it. But when you know the truth, then it should help you to make the right decision. The way the country is, we need to be serious, my people. That's the only thing I get to tell you.
All right, so folks, thanks to you all. In fact, I hope on Monday the same time, we'll be together again. Sekou and Steve, good night from our
Thank
area
you.
in Liberia.
Thank you,
My
my
man,
brother. And
thank
thank
you.
you to the entire management team of Truth FM. And big thank you to you, Johnson Mebon Kula, for always making this possible. We'll see you here on Monday.
Thank you
Thank you.
for joining Barcelona. Thank you, Melbourne, for joining
No,
Barcelona.
God
God be with you. God be with you. Thank you.
See you.
You drop
See you,
Barcelona. I'll say
brother.
I want to share. I'll say
I
Barcelona.
that is talking. I hear this.
Don't bring
I
noise.
hear. I hear that. What is
Listen, I said we
David?
will
So
pop
for
up. I
that,
said we
bro, we
won't
want
bring
to say
noise.
thanks. I want to say thanks to all of you for finding this broadcast and keep following Truth FM 96.1 in the heart and soul of Liberia. Your broadcast live and direct from outside the nation, the capital.
Yeah,
Mr.
so
Kane,
Steve,
they put a number on so the people can contribute. We can take a few calls. But are
okay,
you the
like
man
a
was
few
leaving
calls.
Barcelona? Soon you came on the show.
My
Everything.
man, stop the Barcelona team, man, before
But the man was leaving Barcelona.
I can block your
Okay.
your camera.
Okay.
So you can call 480-862-0783 or 401-2081. 401-2081. Call either one of the numbers, you will be on here. So yes, Steve. Let me repeat this. Liberia, most of Liberians, we are not honest to ourselves. We are not honest to people that believe in us, to people that trust us. And that's bad. If you want the opposition to win, you should be doing something that will benefit the opposition. But we are proud of destroying the opposition, and proud to wine and dine with people who destroys the opposition. And you sit there. Oh, you don't want we are to win. Oh, you are the biggest hypocrite ever existed. You are happy to destroy the opposition, but you don't want the government to win. How does that work? So when we are pointing to the flaws of your political leaders or your political actors, you get angry. You cannot get it both ways. You cannot get it both ways. It is unimaginable for you to, in fact, think that you can fight among yourself, you can fight to destroy the opposition, you can celebrate those who are fighting to destroy the opposition, but yet still you're talking about opposition unity. How does that work? That is the biggest hypocrisy.
Yeah, it's like you say you lead a woman because she was not found, but then you go back, you start praising that single woman and say the woman found. Wow. I won't go back to that woman.
So the thing is, Steve,
Crazy, yeah.
those people in the opposition, and I'll maintain this over and over, with no fear. If you continue to work with Benina Yuri, with Henry Costa, and you still say you are opposition, you are misleading yourself. You are not no damn opposition. And anybody who try to work with you, they are doing it at their own risk. Because the ripple effect will not be favorable to them. You are not an opposition. You are a government collaborator, you're a regime collaborator. So at this point, Steve, I don't care how somebody want to think about me or how they want to feel about me. As long as Joseph Nima Boakai continue and to take advice from Costa and Benina Yuri, I don't consider Joseph Nima Boakai as opposition. He's still working with the government. Because you're working, taking advice from people who are directly working with the government. And your inability to understand that, your inability to even know that those people are government people, they are working for the government, your inability to understand that tells me that you lack leadership, that you lack analytical skill, that you lack understanding of politics. There's a saying that when somebody tell you who they are, believe them. From time to time, Benina Yure and Costa came out openly and make it known to the Liberian people that they're working for the government. And this is visible in every undertaking that they are doing. Everything they have done. You can see it. Even when McGill got suspended, you saw it. How crazy all of them went. But you stayed there? Say you're working with those people and you want to be president for Liberia against the same government that they're working for? You are wasting your time. I can tell you, Steve, down the line, at the end of the day, people that are really, 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 really sorrowful. And I wish they didn't go down that route. Yomli Kanga Lawrence. She's the number one victim. I've said this before. She found herself in the middle of something that she's not supposed to be a part of. Being a part of people who are destroying the government. Who are destroying the opposition. I know that's not her attention. That's not her ambition. I know very well she means well for Liberia. But she found herself in the company of some evildoers. This is just the truth. Now she's in it. She has to fight it. Unfortunately. She found herself in the middle of some evildoers. And for Dillon got caught between the hard rock, between the rock and the hard surface. Dillon is afraid of Costa. He thinks Costa will expose him because Costa knows where the bodies are buried. They know exactly what they have done together. in terms of corruption. Normally, just found herself in the middle without knowing what's going on. Now they have caused her a lot of pain and frustration to the extent where they destroy her political party just to protect their own selfish egos and their corrupt behavior. I'm just being honest. JNB too is another victim. I've said this for years. For years. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from? Hello?
Yes, hello.
What is your name and where are you calling from, caller?
My name is Daniel Dennis. I'm calling from Canada.
Daniel, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Just wanted to throw light on the opposition, especially Jose Nimabwaka. Well, I don't know what wrong with Liberians. I don't know what other country is caused because Jose Nimabwaka have held multiple positions in government and he didn't do well. And for them to still be chanting his name is mind-boggling. You guys are doing well by opening the eyes of other people that can reason and opening the minds of people that can think and analyze. Because, when I watch most of the videos from Babu, it surprises me to see people still yelling Waka, even talking about him becoming president. It's mind-boggling, and people will be laughing at our country that we can't reason. So I don't know what to say. This is just I wanted to say, Ziku and Steve. This is very, disheartening and unbelievable that our people still talking about Joseph Nimabwaka, who have held multiple positions in government and have done nothing, even for the very country he is from. Thank you very much for the show, and this is my contribution, brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. So you can keep your calls coming in. Still, unless you want to say something, but I still have something to say about these people just for a minute.
Yeah, finish your thought, please, and then I'll just say one or two words.
So here's the thing. To those who believe in Joseph Nimabwaka, if you truly believe in Joseph Nimabwaka, if you want Joseph Nimabwaka to even be considered as an opposition, he has to divorce those government propagandists, those government apologies. You like it, you don't like it. Right now, you read a government agent. His mission is to make sure the opposition fail. That's why even after they saying they are no longer a part of the CPP, they still try to fight to destroy the CPP. Even they say they're not part of it anymore because they don't want the opposition to survive. They don't want any major challenger against the government. If you don't have the sense to know that, to understand that, then you need to go check your brain. You say you're not part of anything anymore. You're not part of the opposition, but you can't let them be. You want to destroy them. And for Joseph Boakai to fall for that, to have fallen for that, that brings about some serious question of judgment, serious question of leadership. Benina Ure is against opposition, but yeah, Benina Ure is your first lieutenant. How are you going to win? How are you going to go somewhere? In fact, caller, what is your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Siku, I'm Alex calling from Rhode Island.
How you doing, Alice?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, I was watching your show, Siku. I don't know what Liberian people are still, get a perception of this Joseph Nimo Braga guy going as president. I mean, for Liberia, I don't know. Someone who was once a vice president for 4 years didn't do anything. Went on a show saying that he lived on loan. And I was just talking to a guy to my jaw. He's the fourth person in line when it comes to the richest man in Liberia. And you still want to believe such a person that tell you he was living on loan. I don't know why Liberian man have not changed. We came into a developed world. We still just holding on to things that we just keep holding on back. I'm just going to just make this clear to Liberian people that are around the world that listen to this show that they should have clear mind. The only way our country is going to change unless we change our mind and change our perception about life. Because people will keep lying to the one Liberian people, and they will still be holding on to this. Some of them go on war platform and lie, and they're still holding on to that, believing the person, So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, our job, my brother, is to tell the people the truth. If they believe it, fine. If they don't believe it, it's on them. At least they can say we didn't tell them. My brother, thank you.
All right.
Steve.
Well, from what the caller said, the same way how we address the LPMC issue today, and we'll continue to address it in more detail because we have the paperwork and the facts. We address Joseph Numa Boaka's claim of being poor and projecting himself as being poor. I want to say to the Liberian people again, that is another deceptive move. It doesn't add up. But in subsequent time, we'll provide the facts. We're not in this to disrespect anybody. I think somebody calling. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Hello, Steve.
Yeah, what's your name, please?
Yes, my name is Japa Maxwell Hooks.
Yeah, Japa, how are you?
Yes, and I'm calling from Iowa.
Yeah, what's your take, Japa?
Yeah, so I'd like to make my input to the Joseph Boaka situation.
Please, go ahead.
I like the last caller said, I am still fumbling with the understanding of some of our colleagues here who have gone to school, work in this country, know about good governance, supposed to be experienced individuals to advise our people, are still ill-advising Liberians to vote for the likes of a man like Joseph Boaka, who has been a complete... I used to work with Joseph Boaka when I was in high school. Every year, my cousin was at LPMC as a controller. And if I tell you Joseph Boaka's history, there will be no need for somebody else to say Joseph Boaka is fit to be president of this country. Never. Joseph Boaka, look, people think with what he received even from the ADB bank for LPMC that Joseph Boaka squandered. Joseph Boaka does not like to take responsibility for anything. When the PRC took over, and the army personnel were all over looking for money, harassing people, Joseph Boaka was milking LPMC, but would send army people to the control. I'm not going to call my cousin's name, who was controller at LPMC during that time. That's how the woman ran away and came to the United States, because he made himself look so blameless that when the woman would stand up to say, this is not why this institution was being funded, Joseph Boaka made himself look so blameless that people thought he was a good guy. Only records can prove that Joseph Boaka is not fit for anything to be a leader in that country. Then imagine 40 plus years being in government. Look at the flip-flopping the old man continue to flip-flop. One minute he says this, the next minute he says something different. Joseph Boaka is not fit to be president of Liberia. So I don't know the likes of Costa who thinks that when Joseph Boaka becomes president, hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah, who thinks that Joseph Boaka will become president for him to take charge of running the Republic of Liberia? This is foolery. that Henry Costa has made of himself. Even the Nomri Kanga Lawrence, who thinks that Joseph Baka is going to make her vice president, and so they destroy the CPP. Well, Alexander Comey has continued to say, let's hold together, whatever the situation is, we cannot abandon the bus on the highway. And he goes on radio station to make it look that he was a clean guy and wanted to make sure that the CPP held together. When he destroyed the CPP along with his cohorts, the Henry Costa, the Nomri Kanga Lawrence, the Benani Yuri, the Mo Ali, they denigrated Henry and commies in this country. He consistently wrote the CPP, the ANC people, that we needed to shut Henry Costa's mouth. You know, under the laws of this country, you can take somebody to court, and an individual, a client can ask you to represent him or her in a court of law. To take somebody, the person just need to do an LPA, and power of attorney, to represent. I say ANC people, let's shut Costa's mouth. Costas is rude, he's uncivilized, he helped destroy the CPP. Now he wants to go back to Liberia and say he's going to contest against whom? That Liberia will embrace him after he destroyed the one powerful and viable institutions? And he thinks Liberians will embrace him because of his wide mouth? Costa agrees with you today, you a body. He doesn't agree with you tomorrow, you are a criminal. Is that the kind of person we want to see in government tomorrow? Let's just wasting their time. And some of us will be in Liberia, we will make it clear. And that's why I applaud you for what you're doing, educating our people, and we'll continue to talk. So I just want to make my contribution. Joseph Boakai would be, it's not just like you said, Steve, it's not just taking Georgia out of power. It's not just an alternative we want to find for Georgia. And Joseph Boakai is not our alternative. We want to find a leader who is far different from both the Boakai and the Joshua, whose style of leadership, whose platform, whose vision is far above what Joseph Boakai is thinking about. Joseph Boakai can't even go to Wansonga and he says he's going to build road in 90 days or 100 days. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, you didn't build road in 12 years, but you can build road in 90 days.
Well, those are some of the deceptions.
Yeah, I got callers here.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Yeah, caller, what is your name and where you calling from? I think this is Prince. Hello?
Yeah, Sekou, how you doing? This is Prince. How you doing?
I'm okay, my brother. Man, what say you?
Yeah, look, Sekou, for once I would agree with you on something you said, and I would disagree with you again on another thing you said.
Okay, that's fine.
And my agreement with you is that indeed, Henry Costa and his father, Yuri, were the mode that were planted by WIA to guarantee that WIA have a shot at the second round, or even have a shot at the presidency again. Listen, you got this most popular celebrity in the history of Liberia that took part in 2 elections, could not get 40% of the vote. Twice. Could not get 40% of the vote. The most popular, when nobody knew him. He was an enigma. Everybody thought, nobody knew. It was just a guess. It was a hypothetical thing. It was hope. The thing. This guy now has a record. When he couldn't get 40% for 12 years, the Liberian people say, you know what? We left with the better choice. We will make the hard decision. We will not allow United Party to come back. We will give new people the opportunity to see what they can do. And the Liberian people, half of them sat home. They didn't go vote because they didn't even trust WIA. And the half that went, all of that half, WIA got 62% or plus. And half of that other vote that added to the 38% were people who were just trying this guy and say, let's try him. And you telling me now this guy is brave now after he has a record that has shown the plunge the Liberian people back into abject poverty, into hardship, into insecurity. And you tell me the guy is brave to be thinking that he can win election in Liberia again? There's a reason why we are thinking that he can win election in Liberia. And the reason is exactly what you said, Sekou, because he know that the opposition or this discombobulated opposition fighting among themselves is his only chance for him to make it to the second round, to even go to the second round. So he planted Uri and Costa in there, and today the opposition is where it is because those two individuals are the one that causing the confusion in the opposition. And then to make it in the part I disagree with you, you say Yobi Kanga is a victim and Joseph Baga is a victim. They are not victims. They are all complicit to everything that's happening, and it's because they all agreed. They put in the interest of Liberia above the interest of their own and below their own interests. So Yomika is not a victim, Joseph Baga is not a victim. Joseph Baga, no. Let me tell you, you will be surprised. Perhaps Joseph Baga in on this thing here that cost you everything. Everybody are doing. This thing, it will come to a point that Joseph Baga will say, if he can't win this thing here, he will prefer giving it to Wea. Trust me, Sekou. Take this word. Joseph Baga will end up giving it to Wea because of what he is. He's an old man that is very vindictive, very tribalistic, and unforgiving. So that's my disagreement with you, and that's my agreement with you. The best thing we can do right now, point out Labrenpo the best option. There are only two viable options as we speak right now. Only two viable options. And one of those options are making a better case. The two viable options is that Alexander Cummings and what his name our man Gonglo. Unfortunately, Gonglo came a little bit at the time when he got double his speed. But those are the two viable options. And sadly, unfortunately for us in Liberia, Alexander Cummings is making a better case. He gave him a roadmap. He gave him a direction of where he want to lead the country. He's showing the solution. So that one we gotta keep telling our people. I was on We Are Them program, and you know the CDC not even proud to talk about We Are President anymore. They still talking about we are in the refugee camp, when we are there in the refugee camp, welcoming there when you were doing the war for Liberian people. That's the thing they're still talking about. They're not even proud to talk about this man accomplishment as president of Liberia. So Sekou, love to put our option to our Liberian people. The best option either the best ticket, Gonglo, Cummings and Gonglo. That's the best option for Liberia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Mr. Bird de Noir, how are you, sir?
How you doing, people?
You see, I didn't ask what's your name, because I know who's calling. So that's why I just call your name directly.
Let me disagree today with you and Brother Steve.
Go ahead. No surprises, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, let me start first on Honorable Barkai when he said his 100 days in office, no car will hit any more on the road leading to the hinterland. This is how I understood it.
Okay.
You know, Sekou,
I like that.
In the 70s are coming. In the 70s, we had public works. Public works were all over in the various districts in our country. That time, it was just 9 counties in the Republic. Now it's 15. This is how I understood what Mr. Barkai said. One, you see, in Liberia, we have sections that are always mixed up. Let me start with my own county, Nima.
You got maximum 2 minutes. I'm giving you 2 minutes maximum.
Yeah, thank you. That 2 minutes is enough, sir.
Okay.
In my own county, Nima, from Kokopa to Yasmin, that's one of the targets. You do that area there for at least 4 or 5 days and put contact. You will never, and put the cross rock that people used to take before and put on the road. You cover that place, you move. You go to there's little place that always fall. You face that place the same way. You go to Secretary before getting to Secretary. You face that place the same way. Then you jump, you go to Plateau. Loyi, between Loyi and Plateau. That place has fall all the time. You face that place. You jump from there, you go to Gray. Gray, right there, you face that place. No more Hishi. You jump from Gray, you go to Tapeta before getting to Tapeta. You face that place. You jump from there, you go to Bloodera. Bloodera, that place before the river, before Sesto River, it always fall. You face that place. You leave from there, you go to Grand Julia when you enter in Grand Julia before going to Kawakia or somewhere there. You face that place before getting to my wife's home, Zeleta. You face our whole place. You level that place with cross rocks. You leave from there. You jump between Grand G there, between Zedri and River G. There's 7 places that they call Kawikan. Kawikan always fall. You finish that place. You leave from there straight to Sano. From Sano straight to Bassa. Now 100 days. If we have the manpower and we have the logistics, we have the finance, you will do that thing within 100 days. And my other disagreement with you.
No, all the way you go to all the way. No, your way now. Listen. Listen. You already use 1 minute. No. Let me. I will give you more time, boys. I will give you more time. I don't want to ask you. I want you to go to Lofa too, because the way you face all the road now, that there's not easy. I want you to face our Lofa road too for us. Go ahead.
Okay, not go to Lofa. Not go to Lofa. Get into Lofa. After you cross Lofa, before getting to Lofa, before getting to Kabbalah River, that other area, before getting to Belefana, that other area can spur. You mash that place, you go cross right there, you lay the foundation of the road. You dig the road on the left, you dig it on the right.
On the right.
Those places that you see, you face the road on the left and on the right. You go back to where the stream, that what we call in Liberia river, the small river. You put cover at least 10 or 5 cover. You put cross right on it. You done with that other place. Then after Zozo, you do the same thing. For now, 100 days. For us to think about highways that we can put in Liberia in that 100 days, and we have the manpower, and we will be having the logistics. Look at Indian County. They have a lot of over
so that what the woman meant. I understand now. Okay, just conclude now.
Yes. Okay, they have over 10 machines in Lima County. Like 10 machines in Lima County can buy the parts. We have the equipment there, but the equipment, because of our corrupt people, they are now using this equipment. And when you get Nigerian men from it, let's say for example, steel. They get steel from Bon County to the intersections of Lofa. And as I know that steel can do work in the morning, 7 days in a week. You pay the people, the engineering background. We have other countries that are closer to us. We are all neighbors. You ever see car issue in Africa? No. We collect these people. We talk to their leaders. Oh, we were the first, but now we have become now. Can your military engineer come and help us? In our talking, Liberia will be good. But let me disagree with Steve too. Steve.
But you're meaning now.
Convention. You see the same convention in Maryland. When Comey said, I'm quoting directly from Comey, because when you're saying that type of thing, you don't follow other people say, you're only the head of Joseph Brockey. The same conventions in Maryland. When Comey stood there and said, I will not campaign in part of Liberia, then which part of Liberia Comey want to become president of? Which part of Liberia that Comey wants to become president of? And he's selecting 30 parts.
Mr. Noah. Mr. Noah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very, very much. And I think I will recommend to Joseph Boakai, if he ever becomes the president, he should appoint you as a public works minister. Thank you very much for your contribution. No, I'm the one recommending, because the way you know how to feed the plate, then. Okay, but no. You work on the road for, and then later on we'll make you. No. We'll make you public works minister for it. We finish the road in 90 days, and then we'll make you. No. Listen now, because the way you know how to feed the road now. Listen now. Joseph Barker, listen. Joseph Barker was vice president for 12 years. The way you know how to feed the road, Joseph Barker don't got that idea. The public works minister that have been there, they don't get the idea. So they will make you the I will recommend to Joseph Barker to make you the public works minister when you finish the role. Then from then I will make you again agriculture minister. Then you produce, yeah. After that one, you produce, make you agriculture minister. But thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
So, just before you leave, let me ask you one question.
You want to ask me? Ask him or you ask me?
Yeah, I want to ask him.
Me?
Him.
Okay, Mr. Noah, stay on the line. Still want to ask you because you know still let the way you know the Ministry of Public Works job more than
Mr. Denoir.
Sonny, still ask the man.
Mr. Denoir.
Yes, sir, brother Steve. My son, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. My first question to you is, I know you talk about Petuo when you were talking about facing the lane, right? Facing the road. And you talk about Petuo.
I said, listen to me. Listen, Steve. I started first on.
Mama, you want to go back?
Answer the question, Mr. Denoir. Mr. Denoir. Mr. Denoir.
You can't go back there.
Yes, not go for Petuo, yes.
Okay.
You talk about Petuo, right?
Yes, sir.
That in Petuo, Prince Johnson captured the Moa, right?
Just ask me the question you want to ask me. Don't talk about.
Hey, Mama, answer the question. If you don't want to answer the question, that's fine. I got the question I got to ask you.
You talk about Joseph 100 days.
Hey, go.
Now break it down.
Mama, Steve. The man break it down. Even in Lofa County, the way they're going to face the road from the left hand side to the right hand side, remember they tell you everything.
But why the man answer the simple question I asked him?
Okay, yes. Let me answer for the man. Yeah.
No, let me answer. That in Petuo, Prince Johnson captured the Moa, right?
Mr. Noah.
Okay, for the respect.
If you don't know, say I don't know, then we'll move on.
Yes.
Okay, you say yes.
Okay. Now my only question to you, and my recommendation to you, when Alexander Cummings come on the show, we were asking your question that you just asked. If he made that statement, what he mean by that? But my recommendation to you in the meantime, because Alexander Cummings is not on the show, listen. But listen now. Listen now. My recommendation to you in the meantime, since Mr. Cummings is not on the show today, and the conversation is not about Mr. Cummings because we can ask that question all day in our head. It will not make sense. My recommendation to you is, can you reach out to the ANC people in the meantime while we are waiting for Mr. Cummings to come on the show to ask them what Mr. Cummings mean? Because you asking, oh yeah, we can't interpret for Mr. Cummings, we're not Mr. Cummings. So go to the ANC people, ask them what Mr. Cummings mean. The day Mr. Cummings come on the show, then we're asking Mr. Cummings, what you mean by that statement that you made? Yeah, and the only thing I want to say to you.
And again, let me just, Mr. Noah, you know, that one I'm just having fun with you right now. Let me tell you this. Let me be honest with you. Everything that you just said, everything you said, it sounds like a pure comedy. Like doing everything in your mouth. Everything is just easy to do in your mouth. The Joseph Barker that you're supporting now, Joseph Barker was vice president for 12 years, and he's from Lofa. Joseph Barker is telling you to get access to Lofa today. They play what you say you're going to face the road, the one south on the left hand side and then one on the right hand side. Joseph Barker, to go to Lofa County today, you got to pass through Sierra Leone. So in simple terms, what I want to tell you, since vote your. I gotta conclude. If you do that, then they will not have a conversation. Okay.
All right, let me say that.
Okay. So your vote, wherein Dr. Jeremiah Wapo is your leader. Since Jeremiah Wapo is into agriculture too much, Jeremiah Wapo, when Baka win, will make him agriculture minister. You that not to face the role in your mouth will make you Minister of Public Works. Thank you very much. So Steve, we gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go, Mr. Kane. So the only thing I want to say, Mr. Kane, about everything you talked about Joseph Yuman Boaka and Yomli Kanga Lawrence being used or a victim. The only thing I will say is if Yomli Kanga Lawrence is a victim, as you claim, she will prove it. But by all indication, based on her behavior, based on what she has been doing, I will say, in my view, She's not only an accomplice, but she failed to prioritize her priority, such as the Liberty Party. That should have been her focus. The fact that she still does not have grips of the Liberty Party as of yet.
She
and
was
that
misled.
for me, that for me,
She was misled. She was misled. Let me tell you this. I will repeat this thing again, and you will conclude. The government planted unscrupulous elements into this opposition to destroy them. The government planted Benina Ure. Benina Ure controls Henry Costa. Henry Costa controls Doris Dillon. Unfortunately, Yombly take advice from Doris Dillon. You see how she got herself into the problem? Not because she wanted to do so, but she found herself in the middle of nowhere. Then when you are in that position now, whether you get there consciously or subconsciously, you are bound to defend yourself because you're already in it. Whatever Yombly is doing right now, Yombly is fighting back. Yombly is fighting back because she found herself in a place that she's not supposed to be. Yombly is a decent person, to be honest with you. Yombly is a good person. But she found herself in the middle of lions. To fight back, to get herself back on her feet, she would do anything and everything to remain relevant politically. But she found herself in a very, very, very big dilemma that she did not see coming. Plain and simple.
So, and again, Mr. Kane, I respect what you're saying. I will hope that she will prove us wrong. Some of us who believe that she's an accomplice, who believe that she knows what she's doing because she's been around the Liberian politics now today. She should have seen this from the get-go. She should have listened to people who recommend, even if she disagree with them. Sometimes you sit and look at things from different. When we sat on this platform and told Senator Yombly Kanga Lawrence, prioritize your party, that's where she took her eyes off the ball. Prioritize your party, pay that due. Forget about the CPP business. It's not important as your political party that you are in charge of. If she had just focused on her party, or even come to the table with
the law and constantly misled her, and she believed them. That's the point.
So
she believed the law, and the law has her own problem.
So
the law worship Costa.
You and other people, some of us openly, maybe some of you guys who talk to her behind closed door, that stay on course. Forget about this thing. But right, even in the CPP, Senator Yombly Kanga should have applied more wisdom by being neutral and staying the course as a twin mother, because she was the only female leader amongst those men. As that she is the youngest amongst those men. While they were going through the halu balu, she should have never allowed herself to be used in the middle of all of this. The fact that she's being used in the middle of all of this, and she is still seen as identifying with the people who created the chaos and this damage, she's an accomplice. I will not make
she's already in the middle of it. She's already in the middle of it. She whether how she get there, it's not matter anymore. She got to fight back. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, leave you.
She got to fight back, and the people that misled her to get her into that position, that blame is squarely on Dillon. But because Dillon did it, because he is in Heron Costa's pocket, and Heron Costa is in Benina Ure's pocket, and Benina Ure is in Jowia's pocket. See? It's called chain of command. It's like in a motor accident, there's something called chain reaction. When you running with speed, one come and hit the other person that coming. They're not paying attention. One can hit, another one can hit, another one can hit. That's why you can see more than 10 cars made accident at once because of the person running, the person in the front. Everybody running at the right speed, and that person decided to check on their brake when everybody running. That person knew exactly what they are doing. That person was sent there to cause accident. That person, because they got some old car, they want to make accident and make money out of it. They will come and check brake in front of everybody. It's called chain reaction. Then other people will come and hit it. Other people come and hit it. Other people come and hit it. Other people come and hit it. Those people in the middle, somebody even at the rear end, they are victims, even though they made accident. They will be charged for following too closely. Even though they get in there without any mistake of their own. But they will blame them for following too closely, even though somebody put them into the accident. Yomli is the victim. Yomli got over there because of DeLong is in the pocket of those guys, and DeLong can say no to them. He don't continue to worship Costa, because if he doesn't do that, he will be disgraced. He'll be exposed. And DeLong now decided to destroy Yomli by making her. We got to leave it there for today, Steve.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kane. Thank you so much. We want to say thanks to all of you, our viewers and our listeners, for following us. I know somebody asking who are them. Brother Mose, that Liberian, what you get for Mose, brother? We yell. Yeah, they who are Mose. My man, I yell. What you get for me, brother? A Liberian. Yeah, but in all honesty, we want to say thank you for sticking and staying with us, even in your disagreement with us. Thank you so much.
See, this person called Stanley Zenas Livingstone.
Yeah.
He tried to get my attention over and over and over. I didn't say anything. And he said, "Oh, big Madingo lie." So which one is the Pella lie? Which one is the Basa lie? Which one is the Gio lie? You know, but you know why I call that person's name right now? Because I just blocked them. That person don't belong here. You are bankrupt of idea. You have no argument to make. They want to bring trap. You don't belong to SKTV. We discuss issue here. We discuss politics and politicians. We want to bring trap because you are a trouble bigot. You don't belong here. We just take that person to safekeeping. You have lost the opportunity to be on this platform, to even listen, not talk about writing. You bring trap here. If you stupid, you bring your stupidity here. We tell you don't belong here. So all of you can come here. You can say you lie. We don't believe you. You pay agent. You this, you that. That's fine. Say anything you want to say about me. By the time you bring the trap thing, we take you off. You don't belong here. You are an idiot, and this place here belongs to good people. Steve, unless you have an announcement, but I just want to let people know that I willfully take that person off from mentioning trap.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Bigger than trap. Stupid people don't belong to SKTV.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I really think so.
I'm
because we're not going to tolerate that on here.
Yeah,
you can come and state your disagreement with us. State your disagreement. Other people here, they're stating different things. They're calling or they won't calling or that. That's okay.
No, that's fine. We're not going to block those people.
Yeah, once you bring your tribal conversations,
those idiots who are tribalistic in everything they do, those were the people that were killing people for their tribe. So and you're not going to help you. You try the tribal thing. By all means, you kill people for it. You stay in Liberia. You can't do anything. That tribe, you will see it. He talks about musability, blah, 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 blah. Nobody say anything. I don't care about what you say about musability. If musability is caught in doing anything, trust me, we'll talk about it. The hardest question that musability have ever been asked was on this SKTV. The idea of he being allegedly working for the government, we asked him on his platform. Musability problem with FIFA, it was discussed on this platform. Yep. It was on this platform, he gave clarity to everything. But some of you, when you have nothing to offer, because you are intellectually bankrupt. Politically, you are nowhere. You have nothing to say. You have nothing to discuss. Then you resort to troubled sentiment. You are a fool and you don't belong here. So I'm sorry. If any of you, anybody, behave like that, you come to trouble jargon on here, we remove you in a split second and with no remorse. We got to leave it there for today. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Mr. Kane.
Yep.
Mr. Kane, me and the guy coming to the house. That's what we'll talk about.
Okay. No
Yeah,
problem.
so
Yeah,
we're
I'm
coming
here.
there. So yeah, so if y'all want things say that sedition or that United Party person coming to the hall, I mean that's fine. But one of the political party big minute.
I hear.
We're coming to the hall, me and the person. Yeah.
I'm here.
So that either.
All right, folks. Be
I'm
blessed.
going to my Barcelona share because I want to come to your whole Barcelona share.
You can't hear your Barcelona share. Hey, you know.
I say for you put me outside, I'm going to change it.
My dog will chase you outside.
I'm going to change it so the dog can
And
get
you see that dog hate Barcelona t-shirt.
That's why I say I'm going to change the share. I know the core already.
When you don't see the Barcelona t-shirt, you'll be running behind you.
All right, thank you. I will see you soon.
All right, man. Hey, man. Hey, you have a good one.
Oboni babono Niki majigi aladi porota
Okay, folks, we'll leave it there for today. I just got a message from one of my colleagues, one of my friends, my good friend, Bakaba Sise, former chairman of Musa Board of Directors. You know, he's a New York Giant fan. So I was speaking on him today. How was the game? And he messaged me the final result of the game and asked me that I have to announce it on SKTV. Yeah, the Giant won. The Giant won the Ravens 24-20. Congratulations to the New York Giants. However, we are the Cardinals, and we are here. We're going to win our game today. So we'll see you again. And the song I was playing, so every time I play that song, I can think of my friend, one of my friends in Minnesota, Benjamin Jonah. He said every time we hear the song, because I told him the song meanings, he can really laugh. See, all the people then they can talk about nyama nyama, they will go round, they will end up right here under my feet.
Yaramajini, Oboni babono, oboni babono. Niki majigi aladi poroga.
Nuti ke baba kora ay gamina la de maya de labi luti ke baba korayamba ay ramina la demba ya le labi koni saya ramitala na te diara lobi hallelujah gigi ledi saya ramitala na te diara lobi hallelujah gigi ledi dunia ni aligia mate atunya loro awakabade ya buya sine Imae kono ya gikela yiri bolonnedi yiri temo gigi didioro sobo ya gikela ula baledi ula temo gigi difa moni fi ya gikela wolo dennedi deye mo gigi ledi dunia ni haligi amata tuyandoro anyi silamba de na dunia Timiri isoronto mama inani fali mabubula Timiri moya mama irakili lagi mademe naye Timiri koroya mama ibade bangi madila fikanagina ikanagina ila bango koni jomi la balo banayale mo mademe na Koba sabali dunyaro Wole bade ya da sallale Koba sabali dunyaro Wole bade ya da tununale Mosoko Nima nyumba soro ye bade ya da sallale Nafuluko Nima kiankilila ye bade ya da tununale Duko kuma Naluma ke konya adala bankele mauba ke bedi warangini awutumangi kabade ya bunya sinebi Imaela dia kabulo diako Koni beni lo dia le bade yaro Sidi akabongo diako Koni beni lo dia le bade yaro Bade yato no kabo Bade yakadi Kasilam bade yanina illa Anye bade ya sine Tonya e bade ya le rokafo Anye bade ya Ala yere bade ya le fe Kabade ya buya sine Moya e bade ya le rotonya Anye bade ya buya Mo bade bali ma demena Kuma ye Na Moni fiya e sababu le kone le kele Nifora yana jonye kele Lagine kaluna karifala dutuna kele Sangara kaluna karifala Kumani kuna kaluna karifala tununa Kukumani bantama nyani ni kama siga Fadi maduzula de suma worokande Love mbedi la londo Singari ke modenke Yazana kuruma denke Kamara muso sebakele Gelike mo kantefa Mbalu kantefa Ferma kantefa ila kele tunya fola lukara mo ni papa digele kugoma ni bantamba nyani ni kama siga fadi maduzula de sumauro ibe makiba bila silalima kwani mana mo kana ben silado kwani na sumauro ila o papa ila